Hey, peace and blessings. How's everybody out there doing in cyberspace or government space? Just came to chop it up with y'all for a quick minute, see what's going on. I wonder if y'all can hear me. Let me put these headphones in real quick so we could get it in. Alright. Enki will be usually outside getting his harvesting going on, tilling the land. But today I'm doing an early walkthrough, come through, see what's going on. What's going on, Michael Delon? What's good with you? How's everything? Peace and blessings. Let me just get this together over here. So we're gonna chop it up for a quick minute. It's a lot been going on out there. Things going good. I'm glad to hear that with all this COVID going on. Is they protesting where you at, Mike? There's a lot of protesting going on over there. You read that? Thank you, thank you. What you think of it? You like the ebook? I'm about to start building on that, and that's what peace and blessings, Gabrielle Bradford. It's good to see you. All right. So we're gonna chop it up for a quick minute. I'm gonna talk about the book that I had sent a few people. Wade, Grand Rising Wade. Yo, Wade, the way you spell your name, Hawada. And you got Hua, Haawa, which is how you spell Eve in Hebrew. If you look up Hua in Hebrew, which is Eve, it means serpent. It's the bug that's out thing. Like the original word in Hebrew for Eve is Hua, Haawa, and actually it does mean serpent. And when you read the scholastic information on it, it actually tell you that the scholars are saying that Hua, that word, actually meant that he was trying to say she was a serpent or something. But anyways, we're gonna be discussing "We Are Gods" real quick, which is one of the ebook that I just created that I wanted to introduce y'all to the God world, so y'all have an understanding of what's going on. Because the God world encompasses everything that's happening, including from in politics to what's going on the streets, the environment, to what's going on mostly inside yourself. What we talking about the God, all of us right now is going through a lot of biophysical change and mental issues. It's mental illness is going into people. A lot of people is talking to the ancestors now, not just I'm not talking mental wise, but actually just being inspired by them to do a lot of things. Empathism right now is on the rise. Everybody actually psychic abilities is connected and they don't understand it, so they think that they're having more anxiety, more niceness, and a more of a oneness with the universe. And all. No, your kundalini is activating, empathism is up, and you have to understand what empathism for you to understand yourself and how to navigate at this time. Why we going into the Democratic Party, the demonship that's going on? I'm gonna give you the history of it real quick so you understand the psyches that's being run through media, through everything you see is fake, but it's because of your kundalini activating why it's so easy for you to believe it and don't question it. Mike, you saying I still see colored circles popping in and out. Yeah, Mike, this is our science of being a god, and I'm glad you brought that up because I'm really gonna interact with y'all in this video more than talk with myself and to have a premeditated talk. I'm gonna answer everything you're gonna throw up at me on the board. So whatever you throw up, I'm gonna bring back the answer to it. Like Mike, you were saying, you having the colored circles popping in and out. You're a god. That's the sign of a god. I want to show you what a god is because that's what I do. I think I sent you an early release of the book We Are Gods, and you're able to elaborate on it because you read that in the book. So now once you see these orbs, you got to know how to connect to them. These is levers, switches, buttons that activate your organs, activate your DNA. They're not just there for you to say, "Oh, I see colors. I see this." I did that in the beginning. That was like 3 years ago when that first activated, and I started seeing these little orbs and colors. and having these anxieties. The empathism had everybody my best friend. I'm saying out everybody's situation, their situation become my situation. No, that's not what it's meant for. So about the orbs and lights and circles, you have to first of all be able to know that they're actually, this is only for gods. Don't think this work for is consecutively everybody. You have to be seeing these colored circles and pop up orbs to be able to do it. So once you're able to do it, you're no longer like a physical body no more. You're separated your body from your consciousness. You're the consciousness. You're seeing information as how it would look in your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind responds to symbols. It don't respond to words. So talking to yourself is null and void now. What you have to do is forget your conscious way of thinking, and your subconscious will take over, and you will know what to do with those colored circles and orbs. But just in case you don't know and you don't know how to put yourself in a lucid state, half asleep, half awake, and you want to know how to connect to those orbs, you will have to focus on them, like stare at them, stare through them. Like if you a spotlight is in your face and you're looking at the center of the spotlight, and it should take you through it. All of these is what we call anagrams, or what we call fractal energy, these symbols you're seeing. That's why they're in the symbols of the chakras. I'm pretty sure these circles you're seeing have a chakra color to it, meaning it's one of the colors of the seven chakras. So you will know by destination designation where you're at in your body by the color of it, and going through it by projecting your consciousness, by going to like a lucid state, you actually go through there in that little light. So that's a portal. That's what you would call a wormhole, the snake. You understand? Our ancestors had ways of drawing it and symbolizing it that would make people don't understand who's not from the other side, the parallel, or who's unique to it. So when you start seeing these, you're having what's called a psychic activation, meaning your kundalini is now online. You understand? So when you're seeing these circles pop in and out, you want to interact with them. You just don't want to brag that you're seeing circles and things now. So an average master, a guru, this is persons who went through the other side, went through all the psychosomatics of it. It's kind of crazy, and was able to stay sane like how I am saying, and bring you back this information. You know, most people get stuck in there and they wind up going into schizophrenia or mental disease, or just going into some type of craft that they wind up being stuck in. But the thing to it now is you want to go through these different spheres of yourself. You're going to go through one circle, those dots that you're seeing floating, and you're going to enter into another consciousness of yourself. But to you, it's going to seem like you're going through a hologram, another world. And you come out on the other side of that world with some type of creature going to be waiting for you. This is what's called a gatekeeper. It's the same gatekeepers you see chasing you in your dreams. If you have nightmares, what you call nightmares is gatekeeper chasing you around, or gatekeepers trying to awaken you to make you leave your body. Once you could leave your body, then you'll become immortal, because when you die, you think you're dead, but nobody has documented what happens when you seem like you're dead to us, but you're not dead. The journey continues in your dream body. But then you ain't gonna know what to do in your dream body unless you learn how to do it awake. So this is why you having these lights and orbs coming now. That's why you have these activations of your chakras or these psychic energies, so you could start practicing what's called your initiation. That's the movie The Matrix, where Morpheus come to see Neo when he's Thomas Anderson, not when he's Neo yet. He's become Neo when he's conscious of these orbs and lights and how to use them. With the journey, the whole movie of going through all the gatekeepers, the guy in the subway, all these people, the Oracle, all those people are gatekeepers in your consciousness. And for you to remember who you are, you will have to meet each one. So people be trying to say that they want back their memory, they want to remember. You don't remember. You don't get back your memory like that. Once you enter your psychic field, those orb lights, those things, your memory is being brought back to you by your soul spirits. These spirits is these ugly, scary things that religion told you to stay away from. these things that they call the devil. That's why you have people like the Illuminati and them play with them, because they're not so no such thing as what we think. What we're seeing is actually our soul self, our higher self. Those is other sides of ourself that we never interacted with, that they told us was aliens or other beings, entities, your negative energies. They have all types of name for it. But when you start learning what we call in Kundalini and how to go into these type of psychosomatic states, you're going to come into what's called the Devi, Devi. And once you understand Devi, devil is all the same thing, you get to see there's more to it with your other sides. So the journey become a psychosomatic journey, or alchemical journey through a states of evolution, and you evolve as you learn, go through these different chakras. So that's the process of what you're going to experience, Michael, as you go through the journey into it. You said mainly black circles. That's what they are. Those is what we call nadis. Those is what's inside of you, and they have to be opened up. Once you open up the nadis, they become the flower of life. They change into the flower of life, and as you open each nadis, that's where you get the lotus flower with what's in the root chakra have the lowest number of petals, and on the crown chakra the highest. But the journey would seem like a dream, like you're in a dream world, like a Harry Potter dream experience, because it takes you into a different state. So that would be like how you would tap in what you see in the circles. Now back to what's going on. Peace and blessings, Stardust. It's good to see you. You know, Royal Patriot, definitely. And for you to understand this, let me bring this 360 degrees around, simple for y'all, for my Royal Patriot people too, for you to understand what's going on. This doesn't change anything with the Royal Patriotism and the God world. They're still the same. How is it still the same? It's simple. You have two political parties or patriot parties. These two political parties is your right wing and your left wing, your extreme right and your extreme left. They're the same thing as Satan and God. The left is the same thing as practicing the left hand path and the craft with all the shadiness, but it gets the job done. The right, they're just God body. Like your right side of your body is the divine God side, and the left side of your body is the feminine side. So when you see left wing, right wing, it coincides universal with the universal laws, and they operate under the universal laws still. And that's what they're doing, because they're working with higher entities, these being one being the material entity and another side being the divine entity, and they both fighting for your soul. And so it's what you believe. So you got the Democratic Party that always since in existence came in as a fraud to fraud human beings. So what they did, they created what's called the family environment. What a family environment did was gave you a platform for you to want to vote, for you to act what's called civilized, and you go around, oh yes, my love, I'm a part of the Democratic Party, my son is educated. The whole education system came with the Democratic Party to docile your mind, where it was more of a people was living like how the freedmen's lived, like in Oklahoma City, 40 acres and a mule, no police could come on their land, they governed themselves. That's how people was first living. But once they started inventing the political party and got groups of people voting in as powers, they started controlling the psychological state of human beings, and they started offering job positions such as your lawyer, doctor, Indian chief, which is your pyramid, what made people strive for just the same thing, and nobody actually took an individual path, their path for godhood, or their path to what they're supposed to be as far as right to their inheritance, land, or so forth. A king and a queen don't go to no college. A king and a queen and all of them don't follow these political laws. You do to give them a platform to make them big. But once you realize that, then that's the first level of perpetration. Now, with the second level, you got media. Media got involved. This is part of their scheme they came up with, like from 1984, George Orwell. It's why everybody's pointing you to Orwell. That soon the movie is going to come out back, 1984 with Orwell, because it was the first time they psyched out the whole America by running something on the radio, which was just around that time invented by Tesla. And you would think it was invented to do something positive, but it was invented as a weapon to weaponize against for the government against the citizens. So they let Orson Welles do that 1984 broadcast, which seemed like it was a war of the world or aliens was going to attack the whole United States, which they saw psychologically. The people believed it and started actually packing their stuff up, heading on the highways. A lot of people was leaving their homes. It caused chaos in the whole United States over a live broadcast of him reading a book. And so once they realized this, you had this guy named Karl Marx. He got involved. Who's, if you look him up, he's a famous Russian psychiatrist or German psychiatrist that wrote how the psychology of human beings work. Between Karl Marx and C.J. Jung, they came up with the whole biochemistry system, the Kundalini system, and figured it out. And so they had and understood how the human body and mind worked. Now you had after that, Karl Marx had a nephew, his son, that kept the tradition going, that wrote thesis for the government, and he invented advertisement. He brought advertisement to the government and showed them how consumers, through his father's psychological research, they buy the same thing over and over again. They'll participate in group social programs that actually tell everybody what to do and how to do it, even if it's wrong. So as long as everybody do it, they all did it. So this started coming to America in the form of what we call salesmen that came to your house and knocked on your door. This is before radio and all the TV came into being. You had salesmen that will knock on your door with vacuum cleaners, selling from Avon. Even the milkman, he used to come and knock and ask you for, do you want milk? You know, the newspaper man, and they'll come and knock on your door. This is before delivery, post office, all that shit came into being. They was doing it that way through Karl Marx system, but only the elite had all control of this. So their elite was giving them the newspapers. Remember, they run the newspapers. They run the milk thing. So they started off by going to people's house, dropping things off, but they realized they'll buy 2, 3 vacuums, and they'll come back next week and sell them another one. So when they commissioned Nikola Tesla to actually invent electricity, it was already pre-made, because it wasn't just Tesla was doing it alone. You had also Edison. Edison was working on his patent at the same time, because those was government issued patent and government required them to make them. That's why Tesla was locked up in some bougie ass place in the tower. They gave him all our ancestors' books. Tesla had all metaphysics books, spiritual books. He didn't eat. He practiced alchemy, did what I said in the beginning of the video of the circles and the orbs and the spheres, and was able to tap into the Akashic records and retrieve the information of our ancestors as far as how to use electric and magnetic energy, harnessing the 0 point gravity. Everything is one. Everything is one. Like I show you, politics is the same one as the Satan and the government and the whole biblical story being played out. So once they're able to tap in, is who could invent what the government needed. And so you had Edison coming now. He fucked up, excuse me, because he invented alternating current at first. AC current was not feasible to human beings because it had a pulse rate that was going back and forth. It would have been other devices needed to be invented that takes alternating current to make a direct current, which was what everything just coming into electricity was an age of capacitors, batteries, transformers, basic stuff that alternating current do not sit good in, because they would have to put in relays and capacitors. This is a little electronic talk, you know, for y'all to understand. So the difference between alternating current and DC current, alternating current, your light is flashing off and on at a very fast hertz rate. You got 60 hertz and 50 hertz. It's so fast your eyes can't tell. But when they put in between there this thing called a capacitor, which is what your battery chargers are, they charge up a battery. So now when the AC current comes into your lamp, it charges up the capacitor, so then it flows into the light, so the light look consistent now. DC current does that automatically. Only have one flow, direct current, DC. That's what it means. So now the current go directly to the power source, and it's consistent. So now what's the problem with DC current? DC current has a low voltage to it. I mean not low voltage. It run at a low frequency. So the magnetic, you could say backdraft of it, because both of them give off a backdraft. Both of them is just a magnet, left and right, pushing current when you measure around the area of the magnet going left and right. So they see that the DC current now, it's on the same frequency as to do wireless transfer, Bluetooth, all the technology we see here, 5G, is the same low frequency DC bandwidth. So once they realized that that was feasible to the government, Tesla got the contract because they could use it and weaponize it to read people's brain. They started sending wireless signals all the way to France and Europe. This was what they wanted. So once they realized that now, Tesla invented what was called the ultimate telecommunication device he was making, which was that big mushroom thing that now you wouldn't even have to plug in no cord into the wall. It sends electricity, static electricity throughout the whole country, which even make communication from one device to the other device, as long as it has a receiver, could receive it. But you just have to plug the lights in the wall and lights will come on with no wires. So they saw that as a threat now. They took it to a whole, he took it to a whole nother level. So they wanted control of what they call that was the death ray, the death machine, or whatever the case may be, that sends, you know, we see the Tesla balls where it's like a glass ball with a circle, what do you call them things? Anodes. You got an anode in it that when you put your hand by it, it makes static electricity around your hand. Well, he was going to send that out into the whole world, that when you plug in a certain thing, it's just sending static electricity to it. But that wasn't feasible for making money from General Electric, who was the investors into these programs. And I forgot the other one. They'll come back to me. It's another company. They both was into the refrigerator game. You should know them. But now, once he made the death ray machine, he actually constructed it on some funny island. But what will happen now? The government thought he was going to keep it in the contract and give them the rights and patent to it. But he now caught on how dangerous this shit that he's playing with is, because he shouldn't even did that. You know, if our ancestors wanted them to have that technology, they would have left the crystals on top of the pyramids. They destroyed the crystals and left the pyramids so that we couldn't replicate it, because they knew what type of people was coming for the future. So they actually mummified themselves, put themselves up. When I say they mummified themselves, that means they staying here as spirit to help us. They could have left and decayed, but they knew what they was doing. This was all pre-saw. God see this. So anyway, now, once Tesla had made the death ray machine and did everything and didn't give them the patent, what they did was he took the patents and split it up between all the different countries and gave them pieces of one giant puzzle. And so he said, y'all have to work together in order to construct it. Hence, you get Antarctica. That's what's going on in Antarctica. They all came together. That's why nobody can go to Antarctica. Antarctica is a signed off treaty that no country even attempt to go to Antarctica. But all those countries is in Antarctica. Antarctica is not what you think. It's not cold and icy there. Antarctica holds about 5 United States in Antarctica. You understand? It's super huge, and it's a different type of whole nother thing in Antarctica. Why down there? Because the sun reflection is not giving it that reality. It's at the bottom where the sun can't reflect on. So you're seeing the true universe, the true way things look without having white light over you. You don't see the same thing in the dark as you do in the day. So you get to get an understanding. When Colonel Cashbar came back with the information about Antarctica, it was true. That's why they killed him. You know, Byrd. You could study Colonel Byrd to get a little information or to see something else was going on in Antarctica. And his description of it is way different from what everybody is trying to say Antarctica is. So anyways, now you understand that he split up the patents and gave it to different countries, which upset the United States. So they murdered him. They actually took all the patents, gave the patents now to American scientists who's going to pretend to be Germans. They're going to go to Germany and start up Russia now, the USSR, and they become Hitler and the Nazis, testing out Tesla's inventions. All Tesla inventions wasn't tested in the United States. It was tested on the German regime, but it was United States people. That's why when the actual the whole war with Hitler was over, everybody disappeared because they wasn't real. That was one of the fakest Antifa democratic hoax ever created in society. So why did all the from Hitler disappeared? Oh, he poisoned himself. Y'all got to follow this and understand democratic hoax. It's always been here since day one. They invented the system, so they made the other counter system too. So nobody died. They get rid of them, and they because their character was never real. They invented the character for us to view. We don't know the person at all because he's not going to be shown who he really was. Neither was Martin Luther King ain't real. Malcolm X is not real. None of those things is real. You go back, we going to Hitler. So now with Hitler, now they take all Tesla's patent and go over there, disguise under this guy named Hitler, but they're being funded by the United States under the Thole Society. You got to look into the Thole Society and the banking system and who funded these things. All of it is United States funded. So now once you get that, that's why when the scientists now defected, they defected back to the United States, but nobody saw them in society. You would know them. They stand out. They German. But no, you wouldn't know them because they came back speaking English. Just like those Germans was Jews. You got to understand this is something different. Hitler is not a German. Hitler is a Jew. You understand what I'm saying? So everything was a hoax. That's that. Once you get that, you understand. World War One, a hoax. Get that in your head. World Trade Center bombing, that's when y'all waking up, a hoax. Slavery was not slavery. Let me explain to you slavery. This is all part of the democratic hoax. When you go into slavery, for it to be called slavery, you had to bring them someplace and give them labor. It's called trafficking, which is still going on today. When you go to somebody's land and take the person, that's called trafficking. That's what's going on and always been going on. Trafficking been going on, not slavery. So they've been teaching us so we won't see what's going on in this world by we saying slavery. You're looking for them to take the trafficked person or kidnapping. That's kidnapping. Take them to the place. Then when they give them labor, it's called slavery. Not until they give them labor, it's called slavery because you could take them someplace and free them and they call a free man. It's all in the Emancipation and all our Constitution. But the act on that land when they actually held a person against their will, that's called kidnapping and trafficking. You see that is coming up still in society by these big governments, by these so-called Ponzi scheme companies, these hedge companies that pretend to be non-profit organization helping third world countries, but in reality they're going there first kidnapping and then trafficking. You understand? You could get into slavery or whatever else, sex, pedophilia, after you get to your destination. But the act is actually what I'm telling you. And so when you look at slavery, it was never slavery. It was trafficking and kidnapping is the only charge you could bring up on them until they get to their destination. And this been going on since day one, and it's still going on by the same people, the same West Indian corporation, the same corporation of African. All these people is under these disguise. We are not gods, LOL 1337. Let me break it down for you, 1337. You know what? In the higher worlds, that's why gods don't fuck with humans. You understand? Because your parents is human, so you're gonna say you're human. But gods look at it like this. It's a lame ass cop out for not doing God shit, for not pushing yourself beyond. When you say you're a human, what are you? They made that up. So when you call yourself a human, you make yourself a enemy of God because God made gods. And if you're in the image of God, you're a God. It does not say God human created human, and you're in the image of a human. You're in the image of a God. So how you get that you're a human? So people who's lame and a sellout say I'm human so they don't have to participate in godly things and put themselves on a higher state of mentality. A human is a cross between an animal and a God. It's a difference. That's why it's called man. In the Bible, it says man because man and animal is two different things. You understand what I'm saying? Man is heir to God. That's what it says. Read Galatians 5. It says under the school teacher, as a servant, you're an heir until you see things higher. You're no longer a servant under a schoolmaster, and it's under the sun. Sun is Hor. Hor is the sun. Horus is the sun. So you get the true meaning. You take it as son, Jesus, but I'm going to the Egyptian meaning of Hor. Hor means son. That became Horus. So you have to understand, when you become son, you become a heir to Ra, to the Father, to light. You understand what it means? So you're a demigod, always was, and that's why you get fooled by this foolishness. Because when you think you're human, you participate in human things, which is a meme made up by society, the Democratic Party. So you vote, you go to school, and you go be an overachiever. But let me ask you a few questions, Mr. Human. Was you raised by your parents, right? When you turned 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, was you in the room masturbating, jerking your dick off, probably thinking about your mother or your sister as you did these acts? This is what happens in the Democratic family or any type of political family household, because they do nasty, perverted shit and they hide it behind the guys. I'll break it down to you in simpler terms. When you, as a child, your mother told you your name is Bobby, clean the house up and beat you. You go to school, they tell you you're a school teacher. And I know they tell you you're a student and what you're going to be when you grow up. And you telling them another side of you. So you have a split in your personality between when you go to work, go to school and go home. It's two different people. Then when you go outside, you're another character, a different person, because people is picking on you. They calling you pussy. They saying you soft. And so you have to now man up. But you can't go home and tell your mother what you did. So you go home and pretend to be a good boy and do this. Then when you go to school, you pretend to be a good student and do this. They split you up. That ain't no human being. This is the making of a God. What are you talking about? So you got to understand, you stick to this human shit, you're going to be under European belief. They tell you that they can't cure you. They could only, they could only give you medicine to treat you. They can't cure you. What type of society you live in that a disease that's a God, you for the rest of your life, you have to take some type of medicine that's going to give them money, but you can't cure yourself? That sounds stupid. Only a human being will believe that. But a God know better, because a God get his intuition. God show him what to go get to heal himself. And it's not from being a human. A human listen to Google. Google lie about everything that you see on there. A human watch CNN TV and believe what they see. You got to understand what's going on here, fam. So you could call human, but you against God. You against me. You against the truth. Anything could be human, but what is a God? A God is one thing, truth only, the truth and the light. So you got to understand the difference between you and them and me and you, and why it says children of God and the children of man. All of them is different. We don't mix. We don't mix. You understand what I'm saying? So put yourself in your position and play your card, but drive your car in your lane. Stay in your lane, family. Where you belong, stay there. You don't belong on my motherfucking YouTube, man. I don't do non-God people. I don't do humans. I don't be around them. I don't talk to them. I don't associate with them, because they're programmed. When you program, you unconscious. That means you're under the influence of the stars, the beings, the air. That's what you're under. Today you love me, tomorrow you hate me. You understand what I'm saying? Because your body and your mind is dual. It's duality in your mind. You don't have a mind of your own to take any knowledge and make it one universal knowledge, to bring it all into one. So you have my side hate this side. I don't like this side. We don't go with this. I don't play them type of games. When you're a God, you see everything. You respect the devil as you respect God. You know your body go one way and your spirit go another way. So it's no misunderstanding here, but I know I'm God. I don't know what you think you are, and I know you're God. But until you do, I'm going to have to give it to you straight facts like that, family. You understand what I'm saying? Figure out why you have one brain and a right side and a left side. Why you got one body but two separate arms and your arms work. Your right side make your left side move. What they call it, positive, negative, male, female. You're two things in one. You don't even understand yourself, man. You got to understand yourself before you could even come out here and listen to what other people are saying. You understand what I'm saying? So before you say that human thing, be careful. Yes, but talk about Mayan calendar. Who's the true God there? All right, let's break that down. 1337 love. You understand what I'm saying? It's only tough love here. But now, as far as you say yes, but talk about Mayan calendar here. Here, who is the true God? Well, let's go back to now. You know, yesterday was it? Yesterday was the 21st. What's today's day? Today's the third. So day before yesterday was the 21st. June 21st. Let's talk about the Mayan calendar in June 21st. Because I posted day before yesterday that it's really December 21st, 2 days ago. Today is December 23rd, 2012. Today. Do you know today's real date? You have to go now, go to the Gregorian calendar and factor in a few things. That we're 8 years off of when you do the Gregorian mathematics. You're 8 years ahead. You're ahead by 8 years. And actually, I think it's what six. When you do the mathematics, we lost 6 days per year or something. So they did the mathematics, and it put actually 2 days ago. It was December 21st, the end of 2012. So I hope you understand that, and you could um, Google it. It was just on the news. It's on a whole bunch of newspapers. So 2012 was 2 days ago, my friend. December 21st is what we're in right now. So now let's talk about the Mayan calendar and who's the true God. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We get this ego thing thinking there's a true God. This is about you. There is no group here. Me and you ain't going to the same place. You're not from where I'm from, and I'm not from where you from. You understand what I'm saying? We got been programmed to think we're going to a group party, that we think that this is also a one God thing. No, no. This is emanations. You have many gods that rule. Presiding gods is like presiding days, presiding hours, presiding minutes. Let me break it down to you. You have a god for a procession for 2,160 years. When you're in a zodiac procession, there's a ruling god for that time period. During that time period, this is because of the sun's angle. The angle you're in at that time governs what's going to happen on Earth. You know automatically the tides and the waves control emotions. You know automatically the moon controls women's menstrual, is on the same cycle. So something funny is going on. So just keep that in mind as I explain this. So now, when you have the 2,160 year procession, in it you have the 12 months. Every month is governed by a different zodiac sign, God, which is called a prince or a duke. Now, every month also is governed by a 30-degree angle we call a day. So every day got the same sequence repeated over with the same 12 gods, which now breaks down into 12 hours of darkness, 12 hours of night. One side represents the day side of the tree, which is the front side of you that's always facing the sun. That's why it's called the day side, because it's always in the light. And then the night side of you, which is the back side of you, which is the tree upside down, which is the forbidden fruit they tell you not to eat, which is also called the Kalippa. You go through that and you go down at 5 o'clock. When you don't know this, you think the sun went down, and no, that's not what's going on. You don't have holes in your eyes. You don't see no sun outside of you. You can't take your eye out and look at it in its glass. So you can't say what's outside of you is anything more than what you being projected back to your mind through neurons and vibrations onto your eyes. What do your eyes detect? Go to school and learn that. And how do your eyes see the signal when it comes here? It's interpreted upside down. So you got to understand what's going on here. Everything outside of you is not real. It's what you believe inside of you. Your mind interpret it, and it's a group thing. That's why it's called the universal consciousness of everybody. The consciousness creates your reality through subatomic particles. We are pushing our will with the same thought will makes your reality. So I hope you understand this is higher God science. This is not kid stuff. This is not no fake stuff, but I understand what's going on. And you have to understand these things. Understand these things too. So now, after you know this, there is no fixed God. There is no fixed God. There's many gods. You having to ascend to God so you could take it to the next evolution, like just like kids. You see parents teach kids, but who become the governors of this world in the future? The same kids the parents was teaching. The kids get old and die, and the parents get old and die, and the kids become the governors, the presidents, the leader. You hear trap music now before you was hearing rap music. It differs. With each generation ruling, they bring the new into existence. The same here. You're the future gods of the future by you coming here, seeing what's wrong and fixing it, and you fix everybody's consciousness, the universal consciousness. So you got to understand what's going on here as you're going to believe Christian doctrine or don't know. You got knowers and you got believers. So it's when you're saying, I believe, could you go to court, right? And say you're a woman and you say to the judge, Judge, I believe he raped me. The judge is going to say, huh? What you say? Yeah, I believe he raped me. You believe he raped you. You don't know if he raped you? No, I believe he raped me. So you can't say, I don't know if he raped me. No, you're going to keep saying, no, I believe he raped me. So my point is this. When you say I believe something, you might as well say, I don't know. That's what you're saying. But you only will get it unless you're in front of a judge in the court of law. You're saying, I don't know. So don't believe nothing you don't know. Live your life. Just live your life. Your life is set out for you to only know what you need to know. Nowadays, we want to be Google. Everybody want information. For what? Confuse you. Your journey is inside of you. Your journey is pre-planned. You have what's called destiny and you also have what's called fate. Your fate is when you left your destiny, you fucked up someplace and that's your fate. Destiny is something you complete. I hope you understand what's going on. So when we're talking about gods, whose God rules, I'll give you another example. Get your basic Bible. God called himself how many names in the Bible? I tell you. He called himself Baal. The same Baal is God because he says it in there. I'm no longer called your husband, Baal. I'm called Ishi. Ishi is Isis. Isis is Ishi. So he calls himself Isis, Baal, Ishi, and now Jehovah and God. So you got to know what emanation of God is. And one of the emanation is your ass. It's your ass. You're not different. When you do ascension, you're going back to remember your God. What the fuck you think you're going to remember your Joseph Smith? All right, so let me get this clear. You're Joseph Smith in 2020 right now. Let's say you died at 20 years old. You lived 20 years. But you was a soul. You reincarnated into this 20 years thing you died at. What was you before? Let's say you was Alibaba Akub, and you was born in Libya. So who's the real you, Alibaba Akub or David Smith? Which image are we gonna worship? The one before in you this life or this one? Let me give you the truth. You're neither one of those images. Images stay here on earth. That's an earth body. Are you the person, are you the car or are you the person driving the car? Think about it. Are you the car or are you the person driving the car? Your body is the car. So you cannot run consecutively all your lives and say, this is you, this is the God, this is what God looked like. Because you was before human beings came into being. You was still here as bugs, flies, animals. Evolution is a constant die-live thing. It's things like amoebas that only live for a quarter of a second. It's things that live here for 1 second and then come back. This is their life cycle. And you know what? It's the beginning of everybody's life cycle. Then you move on to shit that lives for 20 minutes. Then you move on to shit that live an hour. Then you live to shit that live a week. Then you move to crystals. Then you move to plants. Then you move to animals. Then you move to trying to be a god, which is called a man. Don't get it twisted. I was going to say human. Human is a word you look up in Black's dictionary. Human. It's mean a dead man. Hugh, dead man. Not Hugh like in a regular Google search. Black's dictionary was here. That's the book of the Pilgrims. When they came here, they wrote law. Hugh, man, comes from the time of the Arabics. You got to understand what it means. So when you call yourself these terms, you put yourself to sleep unconsciously and actually assume these characters that was provided for you like algorithms or memes or random choices. In reality, you came with your choice. Like 2 generations ago, where let's say rock music, they couldn't think of trap music. They couldn't conceive that. It's the generations that came, the gods that came, that brought that with them. The others couldn't conceive that. So what you're gonna bring to society is in you, self-contained. You don't have to study. You don't have to read. You just have to be you. That's what is unique about this. What makes it hard to be you? The Democratic Party. The Democratic Party. Oh, we're together. Oh, blacks. Oh, black crimes. That all that shit is bullshit. You from the hood? I'm from the hood. I'm from the streets. I'm a G. If I'm with my man and my man and my man and he bring his man, we all black. And we do something together. Do you think we all trust each other now? We took care of the business. We got rid of the problem. Do you think we trust each other now? The first thing you learn is if you ain't purify your team and your team ain't purify, your man will rob you. That's a leader. That's how a leader thinks. An unconscious person will trust everybody and go through the headaches and the problems. That's why you see the unconscious people have walls around them because they done try so many times to trust that they close themselves off. Their heart is hard. You can't even talk that shit to them no more. But the lesson was never to trust. It's not about trusting somebody. When you trust somebody, it's like opening your heart and saying, he's not going to stab me. Knowing everybody have a knife in their hand. What you're supposed to do is use your intelligence and make situations better. This has nothing to do with trust. Nothing to do with trust. Everybody starts off the same until they prove other than. But it don't have nothing to do with trust. That don't. You understand what I'm saying? When I say trust, that's something you instill in somebody that's deeper than just getting to know somebody. Of course, when you know somebody, more than likely they're going to take yours. They're going to play you wrong. But as you get to know them, do they still have those same characteristics? No. They're going to wind up saying, nah, you good people, la, la, la. So it changes. That's why I say you purify your family, you purify your team first. And you can't just trust any team because we all the same skin color or whatever until they've been purified too, meaning they don't have shiesty ways in them or doing shit for $1. That's how a lot of people, you come together, you see how COINTELPRO infiltrated the whole Black Panther, the whole Nation of Islam. All those people got infiltrated because they got this fake ass black power shit. And that's what's going on. You see black protesters protesting, and in the mix of it, you have Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Some George Soros ass corrupt psyops people that actually the government pay to act like you and but do fucked up shit on your name and then make you look like democratically or socially y'all is incompetent. When you see some of the nicest people out there helping people, it was like once you get the science, you see 2 groups of people, 3 groups of people that even the protesters started like, yo, stop. They making up walls now like, yo, stop this shit. Y'all ain't fucking this up. Because that's how easy it is to manipulate us when we don't understand the God science and who our enemy is. That's why you have to understand this. This is not some, oh, we shall overcome shit. And you need to get that out, your slave mentality shit out your head, because we was never slaves. Like I said, if it was trafficking and they're trafficking, it was sex next. It was sex, not slavery. What are they doing still? Sex. It's not slavery. Never was slavery. What? Go check your genetics. Do you have original genetics? If you're Indian, do you have your original Indian? If you're this, you're mixed. I don't give a fuck what you say you are, you're mixed because it was about sex. So once you realize that, then you understand sex trafficking is still going on with the same people that's doing it is still doing it today. And they need to shut down. So on that note, that's why I side with what Donald Trump is going on. You see what's going on? I don't fuck with politics. I'm the one who took everybody away from TV, politics, isolation, TV. But what I'm trying to say is something else is going on right here that we all could benefit from. And there has been a deception that we don't see, not just on us with TV. All right, let's look at it on a whole. I want you to get this. Like Donald Trump just did this speech just now. And everything from the speech is just to fuck him up. Yo, the speech, he made the speech and this bad. So you're going to have to start realizing when a man didn't do nothing, everything negative is coming towards him, that's your enemy. They're trying to program you to see something a certain way. So this is what your new task is to realize. Use him as a reference point. Go watch. I'm not saying he's good. He's going to save us. Only you could save yourself. But the way that we've been under this democratic government with these fake crises that they've been perpetrating on us, we was headed into the new world order. We was headed into the shit that they're talking about where they're going to take over and put us into actual martial law. We was just headed there. Only thing that's stopping us is that man putting that pen and paper and saying martial law. They trying to push him into martial law, but he's not budging. So you got to respect that G about him. He could have been called martial law because the mayors stepped back to watch our city get destroyed. It wasn't like it was him who destroyed the city. The mayors hold back the police so that the people could do that, and the people they sent to do it is supported by the mayor through George Soros, through them Antifa corporations and companies. That's who's doing it. So once you realize that they was trying to make him call a martial law by doing that, and being that he went and got the military instead of martial law, I respect this gangster. That's all I'm saying, because I got family. All my kids is there. I worry about this shit. I'm American myself. And anything, I'll pick up my shit. But I'm not, I don't like the way that one group is trying to fuck up another group, because we've been deceived all along. So by us waking up, we won't encourage this. We'll say, get the fuck out of my TV. Get the fuck off of my yard. Don't come around here with that bullshit, because that's what they're doing to our parents. While we're fucked up now, you see all these people out here, they ran it on our parents, but it's never no change. So we have to wake up to all that stuff. 1337, that's what's up. I'm glad you get it. Mike, is there a meditation called dark meditation where you close your eyes and stare into the darkness? Mike, let me tell you, as a God, that's the only way to meditate. We meditate the Hermetic style. You know, it's a lot of deception going on. And I just like to say, because you see all this stuff about Masons and the Illuminati, and we know the history of it up to Egypt. You see, you could just look at the remnants of the pictures and symbols that come out of Egypt. And is Egypt evil or dark or has anything to do with witchcraft or badness? No, this is where God come from, and God science is evil, bad, and corrupt as far as a mundane who don't see it. This is our divinity perverted. So when we talking Masonic, Illuminati, we're not talking in reference to how they use it for child trafficking, pornography. That's for human benefit. That's for sexual pleasures. That's not psychic abilities, God abilities. We work with magnetic field. We're psychic. We have empathism. We're able to do magic. So this is our form of the craft. They perverted and put that satanic sheath over it to make us push away ourselves from our own divinity. But the divinity doesn't start in Egypt or ended there. It was first in Ethiopia. You get remnants of it from the Ethiopians, who then before them was who created the Cushites. That's all a part of it. But we go back now to the Edomites, and you go back to your basic Bushmen and your pygmies. This is in West Africa, Mali. This is where it starts from now. Now you get into the core of it, where it was called the Kalas, the Elamai, the Elysian field, and all these other names now is the same craft and art that came here with your body. You look at cavemen, look in the cave, you see big stave puff creatures in the caves next to deers. They're telling you about your astral body, these higher beings. They see it as aliens and stuff. It's not. We was always connected by default to our spiritual body, because I explained to you that you had the night side of the tree, or what's called the Sephiroth, which is your body, and the second back part of it, which is called the Kalipop. If you understand the spheres, that's the circles that's in there, that's what we talked about. Who's in control of the sphere? The precession of the equinox sphere for 2,100 years, a guardian over that. And it's a guardian over the 365-degree sphere. It's a guardian over the 30-day sphere, which is the month. It's a guardian over the 24-hour clock month day cycle. It's a guardian over the 12 hours of the day cycle and the other 12 others. So when we do the craft, this is those witches that's into that and the Illuminati, That's what they do. They work it to this exact T to make events happen in this world using us as their willpower to will it. Because thoughts is what you use. If you wanted money, everybody wanted money and everybody want to pay their bills. So they get their altar and they set it up and they put their thought and motion into their altar to will their money. Well, if you could do that, imagine the whole world, they fake events or fake something and make us believe it so we will what they now go behind closed door and sacrifice to as the energy. So I'm saying that to say you could will your own stuff. You know, you don't have to participate in the Illuminati or just mainstream news, politics, because it will possess you after a while. I will say learn the information and use it for your benefit, but don't indulge in it too much from even watching and seeing this unfold. And what's unfolding is we have the Pizzagate scandal where you have John Podesta and Epstein's emails that was found that's being actually criminally prosecuted now. For a lot of people that understand what I'm saying, it's kind of fun searching the web because you see so many pedophile organization being brought down, so many political um, head executives is resigning or stepping down because of this. So you know the scam is going on with Trump holding the data from all of this and is running the whole QAnon shit from behind the books. Everybody knows him running it. That's why you have all these people out there protesting on his behalf. You think they're against him, but they're not. He's the one who's controlling everything because he got something even more valuable, which is what we're following, which is the Obamagate, the Pizzagate, the Fauci stuff. All of this has to be fixed for us to move on in this reality because they faked everything. They stealing our money and making us participate in something we unconsciously don't know. So this is why you need to know this information, and it gets kind of exciting to watch a lot of these foreign countries that is actually participating in trafficking. They're getting busted and they knocking down doors. A lot of it got to do with the vaccine business. For you didn't know, vaccine has always never worked. What happened was the CDC started actually making up paperwork that said vaccine worked and suppressing the fact that it didn't work on paper. And maybe you say out of 100, 90 failed, it didn't work, and 10 worked. They'll suppress the 90 and only show the 10. And so now you have a society generations ago. This is from what, the 70s, I think 60s, of people already filing claims that the vaccine was giving their kids autism and making their kids inoperable in ways that it's not human. Kids was just banging their heads on the wall after being normal, running around, just banging their head on the wall all day. And they never got back to normal again. But CDC never printed up these. They never investigated these. These was also being perpetrated now by senators. At the time, Obama was a senator that was actually lobbying for these Monsanto's company, these vaccination companies to actually put themselves in position. And once they was in position, it was no way to stop them afterwards because they was nominated into these executive positions such as Monsanto's is now with the seedings, but the seeds actually made so many farmers commit suicide. If you look at you're looking at over 200,000 farmers committed suicide because of Monsanto seed because their seeds actually infected the good crops that was out there too and brought them out of business. Nobody don't know about this type of stuff that's going on in the world. We only care about our only daily stuff, but this affects you. Nobody cared that we never received back the results from eating GMO food. In animals, it showed a sterility rate after 2 generations. The animal was sterile. No more can have no more kids. And for humans, it takes 20 years. 2020 is when the report come back from what GMO food does to the human genetics or the human body. So we was already engaging in it before it actually was approved for human consumption. And this is the results of it now. Excuse me. So we have a lot to absorb, a lot to take into consideration. Look at the fact that when China caught COVID, Attack was incredible, but look at how it affected the United States more. What's the difference between us and them? So you got to look at our biophysiology state, the nutrition that we're being consuming every day. It seemed like it attacked us more and hurted us more than it actually did them. I'm not talking about the fact that Corona was man-made. We all know this, and it was engineered and by this government. What I'm saying is the engineering skills target a less nutritional group of people than those that was in China that was able to come back from it. And it's still wreaking havoc on us because why? We don't have the right foods by the corporations that sustain your immune system, that builds you up a good defense system. So all of us, our system is being compromised already through our already little sicknesses such as diabetes, high blood pressure, or asthma, whatever. Our immune system is working on that, so we don't have no steroid boosters that's of natural essence, such as herbs, extracts, and other things like that to help you boost up your system. So this now make when COVID attacked America, it wreaks havoc on the country, and they knew this. They knew this. I knew this. Once I heard what happened, I woke up out of my meditation, broke my isolation, and jumped on the phone. And I knew already what it was going to do. My father passed away in it because I knew he could. What they eat, how we survive out there is not built for it. It wasn't until I came here, I started these videos trying to awaken people because I myself was on pressure pills. They said I had thyroid, Hashimoto disease. It was all this stuff that was a lie. They lied to me and gave me those things. When I lost the weight, stopped eating artificial food, I didn't have nothing. They went and took my blood and said negative, 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 negative. But I focused on losing weight. I focused on being in the sun. I focused on being in nature. And it changed my life. And I'm pretty sure it does it for everybody too. So that's why COVID actually attack us is our highly acidic body and not enough alkaline in our diet that it makes a perfect environment for those type of viruses to cling to us. So you will have to learn now to actually go and lobby for better food. It's not going to get no better by you learning this information. This information should wake you up to get mad, to say, yo, I'm tired of this, because what about your kids? We're putting the same people back in power by voting, participating in this little Ponzi game. What I'm saying is the food that they're giving us, they could send out another attack. People in other countries such as the Bahamas, Africa, don't feel it so intense as we do because they eating more natural food that actually boost their immune system. And that's what's important. The basic foods, we know it, but it's not in the process of what they make for us. We're getting FDA that is against good food. Good regulations need to be provided that the food you have has substance in it that can help you. Everything we get, they take out all the substance and give it to us in a bleach form, processed form, which does nothing for us but make our body more acidic and subject to diseases, subject to mental neurosis, subject to schizophrenia, subject to the ancestors is what I'm trying to tell you. Any disease, any sickness come from your magnetic field a year before. So Reiki meditation would have warned you if you could see into the spiritual. And seeing into the spiritual is not a superficial term. Seeing into the spiritual is taking off your daily problems of your bills, your love for your kids, and being the hero to actually unite yourself with the energies around you, and it will tell you what's wrong with you. You will sense something is wrong with you, and you will sense to stop doing something or to start picking up something you would need. It's like kids who eat chalk because they lack calcium or whatever. You see it in society all the time, but we're out of tune chasing our dreams, chasing our goals, chasing behind our man who we don't deserve because he's a cheating person, or the woman who we can't trust, but we always did, making sure we have it. These things hinder our own spiritual growth, plus sickens our magnetic field that cause the disease that you see physically a year later. It take that long when you get a disease or sickness or ailment. It took a year of warning that came spiritually that you never interpreted or understood. It could have been intuitionally, could have been people warning you what you're eating or what you're engaging in, a bad relationship, abusiveness where your soul and your spirit disassociate from you. What does it mean when your soul and spirit disassociate from you? You have no creativeness in you no more. You just more automatal. Like, have you read my other post, the automation man? You just take orders. You just go to work, come home. Yes, baby, pick this up, put that over there, get that. Sit down, watch the football game. You don't have a creative sense to you to go and create something, to be more um, coming up with ideas. This is because a disassociation took place. It could have been from childhood, teenage years to in the relationship that make you lose that. And once you lose your soul or your spirit, then you need both. The soul is what gives you your creativity, but the spirit is what guides the soul. You understand? Once you leave this world, your soul and spirit is what's going to guide you back. But in this world, it's your creativeness, your intuitiveness, anything with that I word, inception, these things is what comes out of you. But if you don't have them, you tend to be more aggressive, agitated, always seeking a form of happiness that is like superficial, meaning you got a car and you want another one, and that's what's gonna make you happy. Then you get it, then you're all right for a minute, then you're not happy no more. Then it's, you want this and you want that, you want what your friend have. That's energy blockage. That same energy blockage of that energy that is gonna get you sick later on. I just want you to understand that. So once you understand that these energies have a lot to do with what you're going to be in the future, you tend to start to, I don't know, to me, we have to wait till we get sick before we actually do something about it. And that's where you can't do nothing about it. If you're sick, you fucked up already. The thing is, catch it before you get sick. And one, you could meditate your ass back to betterness, or you could change the direction you're going in. Say, if it's something you're stopping off at the donut shop every day, eating a donut, and you did that 3, 4 days, then you know something in your spirit is telling you to stop this shit, and you keep doing it. Now a month go by, you doing this a regular routine. They even call you through the window, wave at you. They become now your second family and shit. But you gain so much weight and you're sick. Then you decide to stop now. But then the doctor tell you got diabetes. You see what I'm saying? Then you want to run for somebody to cure you. I do probiotic, and that's the number one reason people actually can't come back, because they wait till the last minute. So you will have to tap in. I'm giving you this information so you can learn the God in you. The God in you is the only one that's going to save you in today's time. And that's your inception, your ideas, your intuition. You have to be able to see it. I'm giving you the extra eyes as far as the government now that actually is tricking us up to make us have these false senses to start having real senses. You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted to add on here. You said, Mike, is there a meditation called dark meditation where you close your eyes and stare into the darkness? Like I was saying, that's the only way we meditate. You close your eyelids, but look forward, straight ahead. If you have nothing there at the time, it's because you actually have to let your chakras spin. You have to give yourself some time in darkness. It's a form of what we call kinesthesia, where it takes a while. And to help induce it, I would go in a dark closet, put sheets under the door, don't let no darkness in. What happens is your mind you trick your mind into seeing in what's called a magenta spectrum, and you're only going to see now like the matrix pattern. But if you wave your hand, you could see your hand. It'll just be like a purplish magenta-ish color as you push it in front of your face. So you, once you're able to see now, then you would just close your eyes and sit there in meditation, and a process start to take place. The Jews call it the tetragrammaton, because that was the original meaning of it. It was never no sacred name of God, because it's a sacred way to get to the higher worlds. Tetragrammaton just means earth, air, fire, water, which is Yah, He, Va, He, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, fire. With the concept being all mental, that's why it's good to read spiritual books, sacred books, because it reminds your subconscious of the angelic being or the higher being you are. We're programmed in this world to seek different things than who we truly are. So by you learning the tetragrammaton, the Yahe Vahe, earth, air, fire, water, you learn now you're going to take a thought. A thought is gaseous. You're going to have it now in your eyes, in your vision, as this cloud that is trying to form. This is what's called formation. As it start to form now, it turns to earth. Then come will be fire next. Fire will be the desire and the passion you're gonna push into this formation, this thought. This is how you will, the real will. Now you're making the image of it, the whatever you're trying to bring into existence, whether the money or to pay this or a love. So now you see the image. Now it becomes water. Water now is when the fire cools it and it's starting to transcend from the astral world into the physical world through what's called the water. You understand? So now it becomes real. The water is equivalent to your will. This is where you will it through passion, a desire, love. Make love to your picture, that image that you're doing. And last is earth. It becomes physical when you forget about it now. Don't remember it no more. Just dash it away like you just did it. And later on, it manifests in this physical form. That would be your basic concept of the of the tetragrammaton. But you're not gonna learn this. This is ancient teaching, Hebrew teachings that they don't want people to know. But we call it the secret. They call it the law of attraction. They got different ways to word it nowadays. It's calling in Christians just having faith. But once you learn this, then you understand these things is here, and that's what it's about. So now you understand how your mind bring things into existence. And sitting in the dark like that, you actually now start seeing your past, your present, your future, things that happen in your life. Sometimes you see things before it happens. That's the start of it. That's why you do it in darkness and you just close your eyes and look straight ahead. But that's meditation. Eventually, that pattern that is what in Hermetic science or the books of Hermeticism is called the dragon. That's Pymander, the dragon Pymander that Hermes starts to see. That's the matrix pattern because it's a living entity, it's a living being. How it works, if you fuck around, whatever you think is what's going to project on it. So if you think it's an entity there, it's going to be an entity there. If you think he's going to get you, he's going to get you. You understand? It's just like your dream. You in your dreams running, somebody's chasing you. But if you stop running, he stop running too. You start running again, he run too. If you say, why are you running? He said, just because you're running. He's not chasing you. It's part of you. It's your spirit guide. So I hope you understand what's going on here. And we not some Dragon Ball Z movie thing trying to fight spirits and destroy spirits. They superior to us. They don't have no flesh. They just come in your psyche. You can't hit them. You can't cut them. You can't do nothing to them because they're just energy. All right. So I hope you understand that. Now, where was I? Um, Damn, there's so many messages. I didn't even see all these. Here we go. Cam, what's going on, Cam? It's good to see you. What's up, Big Love? That's right. Qua El Ra, Re, what's going on? Hypernormalist sensation, definitely. Tony Elite, the Kalipop facts, the roots of the tree of life. Let's talk about that for a quick second, Tony Elite, the Kalipop. You know, I love how Bobby introduced the Kalipop. And I'm going to bring the Kalipop into your life through my introduction of it so you understand the most important thing in your life and the most scariest thing in your life too. The basic concept of the Kalipop is reflected and mirrored in all life. It's paralleled in movies such as Dusk Till Dawn, um, the what's the other one? Night of the Living Dead. Any movie such as Underworld. Why? All right. The Kalipop is reflected in your night and day. Night and day, like I said, in the daytime, you're on the day side of the tree. You're always facing the light. You ain't going to walk away from the light backwards. So that's the day side of the tree. The day side of the tree is the same Ein Sof, the Ain, but it actually is about healing your body. You have spiritual lessons. You're spiritual. Without being spiritual, you would not be automated. You couldn't move. How could this be proven? Schulmer, the guy who made up the Schulmer resonance, he made a lead box and he put it deep under the earth, and he buried a few people in there. Within a few, they lost their consciousness. They became sick. They couldn't operate. They couldn't even say their name because spirit automates you. You can be cut off from spirit. That's how you become soulless. That's how it is. So just check into Schumann. It wasn't Schumann himself who did it. It's the guy who continued Schumann's research that made up the Schumann resonance and called it Schumann. But he took a bunch of people and put them in a lead box. And what happened? They all passed out. Why would they pass out? They had AC. They had everything they need, food, like a hotel. But it goes to show you, you can't cut yourself off from the magnetic field in your spirituality. So now back to this. So now, um, the front side of your tree of life now, like I was saying, it actually now heals you. Its job is to make sure you have no problems, no diseases. We call it the circadian rhythm during the daytime, where melatonin is being produced at this time. That is, it's going through the whole sepra. The sun rays hit your body. So it's your consciousness too. Your consciousness starts off up here on the crown. During the course of the day, the sun, you know, you're happy. By 3 o'clock, you're upset. It's the body is the clock, and you mimic it. So you want to talk to somebody and get positive answer. You talk to them early in the daytime. They always by 3, 4 o'clock, kind of by 6 o'clock, either they gonna be loose and you can get whatever you want from them, or they're in a bitchy mood and need to go have a drink and socialize to make themselves feel better. All right, so after it gets down to the root chakra, Mudalaha, that's your root by your sexual gland, we, for us, we see the sun go down over the horizon. For spiritually, high priest, we call that the rising of Perseus. So that's when you see Perseus holding up Medusa's head with the sword. So that's replicated with John the Baptist's head getting cut off and Jesus being the new Perseus, which is just a polarity of the star on the horizon. You know, as Horus goes down, Set comes up. The which would equate to Venus or whatever rising star is at the time in the constellation of Perseus. But for us in the body now, it's the Amtua. The sun goes under your sexual organ as it goes over the horizon and comes now at the crown, which is at your ass. This is why they say Jesus rode the donkey on the ass, or your Amsu, the Egyptian god, or the Ra is in the Amtua on the ass. So now you start reversing. Set is the ass, and you're coming back up the tree, up your spine to your kundalini to reset to the crown, and this repeats on a daily cycle. Well, when evening time comes, this is replicated like in the movie Dusk Till Dawn. When everybody's in the bar, you change. You turn into a lycanthrope, a werewolf. The magnetic field from the sun affects you as you hear roosters crow at 4 in the morning when the sun is crying. All men, if they wasn't mutilating their penis or having extra sex, their penis will be standing up erected as dew comes on the leaf. This is a natural process of natural science. Now, this is the day side of the tree. The night side of the tree is opposite. It gives you contentions, problems. It deals with sex, love, romance, emotions, fear, anxiety, jealousy. If you ever notice, the shooting rate and kill rate starts off in the evening time and it keeps going throughout the night. And it's the time when you socialize. Everybody's on Facebook around this time and they're looking for emotional support. So we are those beings that transform at 5 o'clock. We just never know how. But it's psychologically you transform, not physically. So they would mimic it and always parallel it in these shows and in these movies such as Dusk Till Dawn, Night of the Living Dead, Underworld. They're telling you that you have that personality in you. So at circumstances, they could induce it to make you react how they want you to react, such as these riots. You notice in the daytime, everybody's peacefully protesting, but as soon as the sun go down, they know what's going to happen because the lycanthrope in you come up, the werewolf inside of you come up. So you have to understand these things. And now with the Kalipop, it's the spirit of the gods. The gods bring that into you because the gods' lesson is about tough love. It's not about the day lesson about your health. It's walk through the grass. It don't have nothing to do with your mental. There's no mental lesson. Your nights now, even if there wasn't no riots and protests, when you go to sleep, you astral project. Your consciousness can't sleep. There's no such thing as sleep with a consciousness because it don't get tired. What do get tired is your brain, and that goes to sleep, but your subconscious mind still is awake. That's why you dream. You just assume the dream body and you go in the dream body. So now, when your consciousness go at nights into the dream body, you don't go to a dream. You go back home, the place you originally came from. You start to go back to it now, and when you go back to it, they give you your lessons. They give you your gifts. If you ascended past a sphere, you acquire more magnetic pull and push. You acquire more electric energy, so you have more what's called PK power, which is psychic energy to manipulate matter, mind matter, and physical matter too. So this is all part of your ascension. You go and spend time with the gods. The gods would equate to the shadow in this world. It's the shadows of this world. You're a shadow in your true self. When you take away biology, when you take away the skeletal and the immune, the different system, your what are they right now? Nervous system, your cannabinoid system. These is different yous. You have different you to you, and you have to understand these add up to where it give you ability to shift from one perception into the electromagnetic spectrum to this perception in this electromagnetic spectrum to your reality at the same time. So once you understand these, you will now get to realize at night the Kalipop, the gods, they're about sex, fucking, violence, everything to make you a better person. Why I say it like that? For you to understand. When you say you're good, you're born good. Two kids, they neither one of them did anything. The father lights a fire. He says, "Don't touch the fire. I'll be back." He leave. He come back. One of the kids touched the fire. He said, "Who touched the fire?" The other one points to him and say, "He touched the fire. I'm the good. I didn't touch it." So he said, "All right, let me ask you a question. What do fire feel like?" Well, right there is the start of life, because only one with experience could describe what fire feel like. The other one could only speculate on it from what he was told to feel like. So you get now what's called the prodigal son, where the one that went out and experienced becomes the head of the family. So it's not a matter of being good or bad, it's experience. The one who experienced first would make it like the bad things he went through make him could tell what's good or bad. So you have to first experience bad to know what good is. Thus, we have darkness before light. Thus, in the beginning, when everything was created in creation, he didn't like it, so he destroyed it. Because everything had to be first bad for us to realize good is. Now, why is this important? Because in reality, our concept of bad is not from a true perspective. It's from a person who never experienced bad. The same thing. Our perspective of good is not truly good because we never experience bad to measure what good is. So nature tends to put us through dramas. Everything that we come out with, we want to help our friends. We believe we're a nation. And it shows you the truth in it that it's not like that. First, you have to learn the bad so that you could say, hey, I want good now. You understand? And you're consciously making a conscious choice. So the question now is, when he asked them, what does fire feel like? Only one of the boys could answer. Why? Because he could touch the fire. So he said it's hot, and that's from experience. And it burned. That's from experience. So you will have to experience the bad to know what the good is. I bet you he won't touch the fire. And he could write books about the fire, while the other one could only speculate. So you need to know this information so you won't judge. You will understand. So that's why the Kalip is there. It's there through tough lessons to teach you when you wake up to do the right. It's not there to encourage you to do the wrong. So I hope you understand that. All right, Cam Barr, what's going to happen now that the royal families and elites are going to trial and jail, perhaps? Is their wealth going to be redistributed to the citizens of the world? Would there be more blessings? Oh, of course. Everything there you answered. Now that the royal families is going to be dismantled, as you can see, you know, it brings a lot of questions into understanding. And I don't know how they're going to pull this off because you got to realize you're under the royal family, meaning you're under maritime law. If there is no royal family, there's no law in the United States. There is no government. They're collecting for for the queen. Everything they do is for the queen. So without the queen, they're null and void. You have no government. Nobody have no government. Anybody who used the word citizen, who's not a sovereign. Sovereign means you're equal to the queen. She don't have no power over you. Your basic 40 acre and a mule apply to her. She was just greedy and took everybody else's 40 acres, and those of sovereign couldn't touch her because that's her right to do that through the law of conquering. But now, if there's not a queen, the whole legal system also is compromised. That's one thing you have to take into consideration. So, who's the king and queen that give law its legal representation? That's a problem. So, right now, I don't think we're ever going to go back to a system of another king or queen. I think, and no, this is spiritual. And this message came out 10 years ago of our independence. Everybody's going to be independent. 10 years ago, they said that the cabal was going to be taken down and all reformation is going to go back. All the artifacts that's in the museum that belong to Africa is going to go back. The stuff that's in the museum that belongs to South America is going to go back. The stuff that belongs to other indigenous people is going to go back. Everything is scheduled too, because that's why everybody's outside fighting for freedom now and justice. The word is justice here more than anything. And I do believe they get the message because they're taking out these elites that's causing these problems. So I don't believe if we follow it, I'm gonna give you the real information. They tracked down the actual real new king. I think his name is King John, but he's not from the royal family. He would be considered a off-brand. What wind up happening from the research is they found out Queen Elizabeth is illegitimate. You understand? This is aside from she's caught up. You know, as you can see, with Prince Andrew being caught up in that pedophilia case, and that's due to the video that was caught of the boy jumping out the window on the sheet, and he wound up falling to his death. That spawned that investigation. But he was also on Epstein's computer and a whole bunch of other stuff that spawned a deeper investigation, which now they looked into the history of the queen, and she come from the side of the family where one of the person who was heir to her, I think it was from the King Henry line, was not a legitimate heir to it. He was not legit, and who was his son, and his son wound up being like a nobody in Australia. I think they even got it on the YouTube. You could Google it. He's Henry, the legitimate one, and but he's not in power now. They wind up killing off some the actual one. I think it was um damn the name. I think it was Paul, something like that. But they wound up killing him off, and that's how Elizabeth came into power. But she's not considered legitimate even no more due to that bloodline issue that they're tracing back to see that there was somebody else who was heir. So now I think they're looking into that to find out if that person is going to be the heir to it. But from the spiritual download, I heard that the governments of Europe is going to take over. Governments is going to take over as the ruling body and use constitutional laws more than maritime, and it's going to be reestablished under a whole different regime. And as far as the redistributing of the wealth, it's going to go back to its original source country where it goes back to, such as Zimbabwe and all the different parts of Africa where they stole the most artifacts that they got for their wealth. Um, Muhammad Mustafa, peace and blessings. Hello, my reptilian friend. Yes, yes, reptilian of the soul. You have to go back into your soul memory. Let me break down the reptilian real quick in the simplest form. When you go through your ascension and Kundalini activates for you, you go through PTSD or post trauma. It's the same like what the military do to waterboard people to make them have a compartmentalization of their egos or their subpersonalities. And us, we have plenty of them and we don't know about them. So we get to learn first to unite our subpersonalities. You're going to get into your brain, and your brain got the reptilian brain, the prima facie brain, and the neocortex. Those three parts, your subconscious dropped you back down into the reptilian brain, and you relive your life as a reptilian. You see these reptilian beings, and you go back to the Cyrus. You meet the Draco. This is all part of ascension. That's why you see it. The Sumerians was the last one to actually document their ascension and what they went through, showing the reptilians in this part. And it's not coincidental, it's in your brain, and you have a reptilian mind, or it's called fight and flight. So once you realize these, you would embrace something that you was once that is still a part of you. And when you go through your passing away, you will unite back with your reptilian self again. And it's part of your survival instincts in this world. And it's actually the higher self of you. It's what's called your soul, the anima. That's why it's called the animal or the anima, because it is the reptilian, which give you a magnetic field around your eyes, spiraling in different direction, that causes the cat slit when certain eye when you looking at it through certain angles of reflection and light. Angles is angels, so you get it. Tony Elite, that could be fake too. Tony Elite, psyops in my opinion. Okay, does anyone have copies of Lord and Key live stream that got deleted? Yeah, they did me dirty, man. It's kind of weird. That's why I had to stop for a quick minute with everything that I was broadcasting, because they was holding a lot of the videos, and it's nasty. They hold it. When I mean they hold it, I can't even say, okay, let me get a quick download of it. They just have it that this video is not going to be published. So you're like, okay, give it to me or don't publish it. No, the only option you have is the delete button, and you opt out, it's gone. And so it was the last 3, 4 videos I did, they wouldn't even let it publish, and they wouldn't let me get a copy of it. So that's when I started getting discouraged. Tyrone Bird, thank you so much for the money. God bless you. Thank you. It's a blessing. I really appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. Cam, this is some Enki changed my life forever. Real blessing to have crossed path with you in the life. Thank you, brother Enki. Forever blessing. Thank you, Cam. Not too many people give me a little credit, but I really appreciate it. You know, HP, that's what's going on. Much love. How can we reunite our spirit and our soul? Mike, if you go to the waters, uniting your spirit and soul is what you're here to do. It's the journey. More than likely, our soul and spirit, we disassociated when we was kids, with the normal being your parents punishing you and beating you, and actually not just punishing you and beating you, but the breaking up of your parents. That be our real first word, trauma. Trauma causes splits. Splits bring in entities. What's entities? Entities is every individual cell on your body. In your navigation of this world you're living in, you only use particular cells. Like, you only use particular thoughts. You have billions of thoughts, because you have more than billions of cells. You have trillions of cells. So you have each cell think, it excrete waste, and it eats. So you have all of those to deal with in this thing called brain mind. But only ones that pertain to this environment is actually active for your situation at the present time. Same thing as your thoughts. You could summon on more thoughts and probably could swim underwater. You can't drown and you can't die. It's just different genetics have to be turned off and on. Different thoughts, which is spirits, come in to assist at that time, depending on your environment. So on that note now, everything that you're gonna experience is different sides to yourself that you're gonna have to grasp, and each one of the sides is gonna be active at a different point for a different reason. And so as soon as you grasp one, it's like these cells, these thoughts, these parts of you, they move out the way to allow other ones. But don't think at any given time you're subject to just what you're thinking or what you've learned. That's just at that given frontal lobe of your brain. At any given time, put it under conditions, you already have another you that is pre-programmed to have some instincts towards that situation built in you already. That's your what we call your spiritual gifts or tapping into your true God self. That's what you want to learn. So the environments you're in, actually we call it in Kundalini, it activates your pop. You could be set to have magnetic hands, like the Egyptians, you always see them with the hands, which is the power to heal through your palm of your hand. But it's not going to activate till you go to a park by the trees. Then all of a sudden you get a feng shui feeling over you, and within a few days you doing instinctively some funny moves, or you doing stuff you don't usually do, or you just know how to do it. This is where your knower come in. You just know how to do things. So all of these is provided by uniting your spirit and soul. And this is how you unite with your spirit and soul, by going to these environments and giving them a platform for them to show you. It's like when you have your kids, when you was little, first of all, you was one with them. All of them, they're showing you everything here, showing you everything. You probably more advanced as a kid than any adult. It's a joke to you. Life is a joke. Then you laughing at them. Whatever they showing you is a joke. But now, as you get older, trauma start making them leave you. They disassociate. So you need more instructions now. You have to follow instructions. But as they come back, you said, fuck the instructions. I'll do this my way. So now, what's the difference? All right. When you want your spirits to work for you, come back to you, say you had a disassociation, it will be more of like, say, I'm gonna use your family environment. You live with your mother and father. You lose your soul when you're 2 years old. I would tell you that when you're in your house, forget about it. You lost your soul and your spirit. Why? Because you have to do what your parents say. This is about individuality. That your soul and your spirit is individual. It's unique. So the first place you lose is when your parents is ordering around you. You know, when you got a beat in for probably touching something you wasn't supposed to touch. Your soul disassociate because you still got that same thing in there, but you can't touch it now. Every time you look at it, you want to touch it, you can't. Your soul disassociate. So the disassociation started at a very young age, but start to reopen back up when you hit puberty. That's where you get your goatee voice, your bang, you start having talking like a goat and all that. Well, now this is now you get your chakras is opening and your soul is starting to come back, but it don't come all the way. So what happens? You become the rebel now. Your soul start coming back when you start being rebellious, because it's an individuality first. Until you turn into puberty, you did everything your parents say. But once you realize now you get into puberty, you start being rebellious. You're not being rebellious because you're rebellious against your parents. You're being rebellious because you're fighting for your own individuality now. This is how you get your soul back. So you will see a lot of people get kicked out their house, or just they and their parents don't agree. But it's not you don't love your parents and you don't agree with your parents. It's just that you're forced into what's called empathic blending. Look that up, what empathic blending is, where too much of them is being imposed onto you and you becoming them through neuroplasticity. So your soul fights back for its individuality. If you listen and fight, then you find your individuality. If you submit, then you're going to be a clone. You're going to just be another, your parent. You wind up being them all over, repeating everything they did, share their personality, share their characteristics. They implanted into you what's called empathic blending. So you don't never have got your soul. You're them over. The same thing Illuminati did to the kids. So fighting for your individuality is the first step to getting back your soul and spirit, which now is what you want to do, which is not always saying to be disagreeable, but you tend to, if you give your view and want your view to hear. And once you're able to do that, your soul come, because remember, it's a creative thing. It gives you your creativeness. Your creativeness is not in somebody telling you what to do. Your creativeness is in you figuring out how to do something. So you wouldn't take the path. You would take the hard road, because it gives you the ability to create it yourself. So, that's the start of how you start getting back your soul. Intuition will make you know you have your soul. You have intuition again, and thoughts and ideas, concepts, and a whole bunch of them. Maybe start up a bunch of businesses and help ideas. You'll know you have your soul. All right. Whenever I close my eyes, I see colored clouds and flashing. Oh, we did those. Where we at? Okay, can you speak on solar flares? Is this the end of the Kali Yuga? Canberra, yes, it is the end of the Kali Yuga. It's over, and we just entered the new Yuga now, and that's why we having the gods coming out, and you having these people. A lot of people right now is having extrasensory perception. A lot of people is tuning in where they're going into nature now, starting to get into herbs, crystals, and actually healing naturally. So the universe is calling for this. They're the one who's making this call for us, for something else to come. It's going to be now. Let me say this before I say that. The pharmaceutical company, if you studying them, they're actually now realizing synthetic medicine, it actually make the virus mutate and come back even stronger. So they're making a big issue to try to now make laws against herbs and plants because they need that now. So I would tell you, before you take any type of pharmaceutical drug, go look for the equivalent herb or plant, because from what I'm studying, and I like to learn this because I myself I'm making my own medicines now, is that the more complex the biochemistry of the medicine you're using is, the harder it is for the virus to mutate. With synthetic medicine, not very complex, and plant-based medicines or herbs, very complex, that a virus cannot make its way around, replicate, or mutate in. So to learn it the plant-based way is the best way for you to actually make a change. So I wanted you to understand this because we have in a change right now, and this change is actually guiding us to pick this up, learn this, pick this up. Why? It's on the way to someplace. This is what you're gonna need. It's not something to make you that what you're doing now. It's on the journey, and it's saying pick this up, pick this up, pick this up. Because where we're going, you're gonna need these gifts. You're gonna need it to learn how to do these type of stuff. So the solar flares that's going on right now. Whoa, what's going on? The Earth is spinning way faster now. We're on a different frequency. I think we up to like damn near from 8 hertz, 8.9 hertz to damn near 700 and something. So we moving. It's like at a speed where 5G is a blessing right now, not to us, to these fricked up people that's gonna use it on us, because it's like, the faster the Intel processor, the easier the information is to come and pop up. And so with the Earth spinning so fast and 5G, they're gonna be able to manipulate our minds in a more holographic type of way, and technology is gonna take to a whole new level. It's corporations right now, I would tell y'all to invest into with this 5G shit that is in technology to use with 5G, because before you use it, you're going to have a 5G box or some little thing, but it's going to make technology probably be in your mind, and holograms is going to be the new way. So with this new yuga that we're entering, and the solar flares that's coming in, we don't have no set north, west, east directions anymore. It's like the magnetic field of the earth, it actually always had due north and a due west and a due, because of the flares you was coming at the same type of precipitation. But lately, they saying north is sometime popping up in the west. North is popping up sometime in the east. And it's sometimes staying like that for maybe 5, 6 hours a day. So the solar flares, they actually is pushing in ways that it's taking the magnetic field and pushing them to a whole nother level, that it's affecting our whole bodies. Our whole body is getting a molecular change. Molecules is changing. There's a lot of people now that's tapping in because of these solar flares. Like it's just getting premonitions, and these premonitions is what's actually taking us out of our body and teaching us how to astral project. That's the key message, because it seems like a future disaster is coming, and not all of us is gonna be subject to death. A lot of us is higher beings, and the message is learn to get out your body. Once you can get out your body, everything else you will see is not that serious. 1337, and who is Ra and Kali? Ra is in this world. Just look at Ra as light. Anything that you see as light. We don't understand what it is, and it's gonna be a long way to explain it. Ra would be equivalent to any form of light you see, such as this. Light is consciousness. Light is who you are, except for the form. The form will be Kali. I'm giving you the two of them. Kali represent matter, darkness. Dark matter is where the realm of Kali come from. Dark matter in this mental thought process is you having a whole bunch of million thoughts, and all of it is supposed this happen. You're supposed to happen. Suppose so you're the creator now. Say you're a black hole in dark space, and you don't know what to think. You just pop up in dark space, and you're creating everything. Like you're supposed this, supposed that. You're supposed this, supposed that. This is what Cali is supposed to, supposed that. It's just possibilities. Now here come Ra. Okay, suppose we take 1 plus 1 and we put it together. That's 2. Boom. So you get an atom. Suppose now you take that atom and add 2 atoms. It becomes helium. Boom. All right. So helium. Now add helium becomes beryllium. Okay. Beryllium becomes lithium. Okay. So now substances, consciousness comes into it through Ra. That's called light. When you see it, it's actually what it is. So what we looking at as light is not light, it's consciousness. Kali would be the form. Anything I'm touching myself, anything in the physical is Kali. Kali is darkness. Kali is also sexual, meaning it's a feminine energy. It has only to do with material stuff. So Kali also represent the yoni, the vagina. Vagina is Kali. There's also Chiron, where the Kali energy come from. We're in Chiron. We're always going to be in Chiron, and that's the ruling sphere for this 2,160 years we're in. So you got to understand, Kali rules over everything, and Kali's who's going to, if it was some antichrist to come, it would be Kali. And what she does is anything feminine, she has control over it. Anything material, she has control over it. Anything non-material, like how it says in the Bible, God created your soul. Your soul is not material. That's Ra. That's why I say it like that. Ra, through Akhenaten, you know, came up with the concept of the A10. The A10, when you look in light, you see the chakra system and all the Devis. Everything is in there. All the spirits is in there. He made it a logo to become the A10, which would be what you would want to comprise the whole system into one. Um, we got karma free observer, peace and blessing. Is it true Jesus will come at the end of the world? Karma free observer, you know, you got to understand the concept with Jesus, you know, is a very touchy concept to bring. But I'm going to say I ascended in the astral world with him as my teacher, but that name is not consistent. You will be more in line with Serapis if you chasing down the character who's assuming that it's a Syrian named Serapis that everybody puts into their culture, such as Hebrew, and before that he was called other names such as Jupiter. You know, it's not what we think it is. And he's back already and is backing us. And for you to understand it, please pick up the book that you read, this character in Jesus, and read John where he said he's in the Father and the Father is in you. It's not something that's outside of you. He says you're gonna do more greater things than him. That's he's not to come. That's part of a story about you waking up and he's in you. So, you know, you have to get it. Learn when you learn the Gospel of Thomas. Read it. When he said, when you find out and wake up to who you are, you'll be amazed, and then you're going to be sad because it's not him, it's you, the one to come. But you have to wake up not to the government program you, to the subconscious true being in you, the one that is the same as him. So I just want to do it without getting too into it because it's a very touchy subject. All right, 1337, yes, but Satan will come first. We're in Satan. Satan been here. You're in Satan. This is all Satan. Democratic. Demo is demon. We're in Satan. Satan is the same as Kali. Kali and Satan is the same person. who's Odudwa, who's Set, who's Neith. They're all the same thing and they're here. That we're trying to get over to the good side now. Why you think you live in misery, pain, suffering, deception? It's all a trick to trick your soul. It's really a fucked up place, but they're pretending like it's not. All right. The red dragon, yes, it's 100% real. 1337. That's part of your root chakra. It's the dragon is the magnetic field. What we call the dragon is in the air. It's an invisible force that is actually perpetrated. You can see it in the air. It's there, meaning its dragon form is there because the cloud is like throwing powder in the air. It showed you what's there. So if you can see it in the cloud, it's there. You could also see an impression of it in the water. It's there. But its purpose is a magnetic field that protects you. So the dragon is the magnetic field. When it lifts, that's when all the destruction of the earth is going to take place. He's going to get up and fly away. His head is thunder and his tail is lightning. When you hear him up there, it's running around. It's like bowling balls when you're hearing thunder. You ever hear thunder that start off on this side of the world and it seems like it goes over here like a somebody's rolling a bowling ball down the alley and shit? Well, that's him. So you got to understand how he worked. The thing they say is don't jump, don't be afraid, don't flinch, because if it was for you, it would be for you, but if it's not, it's not. So you don't have to worry about that. Also, who is Maya? Is it illusion itself or Satan? Because we all are illusions of Maya, so it's Satan, right? All right, Maya itself is the experience you're experiencing. You're in an illusion. When the term Maya came into existence, the simplest way would look at it is looking at something that is there today and is not there tomorrow. So Maya take on the term illusion when you're looking at it from a God perspective a long time. And you said the illusion itself is a Satan. Yes, it's Satan on 100% because your body is for Satan, like it says. Your body decays. It has a expiration date, but you're eternal. You're forever. So while you're in the body, the Satan and the Maya in it would be you believe you're your body and you only live for your body. You don't live for the eternal you that is going to separate. But if you don't know this, when you lay down and die, you're going to go, oh, I'm dead. But if you know what I'm telling you, when your body starts to turn this way, you say, wait a minute, I'm getting out of this body, and you leave. And your body go back to Satan or the earth, which is called materialism. It goes through a whole process, too. It doesn't just decay. You got what's called the mineral world, where all the different parts of your body, because it's a composite body, it's composed of the four elements. You exist in those elements too, which now give you millions of possibilities to come back to as a soul. You have all the different elements of your physical body as timestamps for you to actually come back to. That's why the Egyptians, to keep their timestamp more preserved, they mummify themselves so they always have a connection back to the earth and come back to this world. So that's why it's good for you to do it. But even if they wasn't mummified, the elements, how it came together like a mathematical equation, it separates and go back to its places. They still individually have possibilities. For you to understand it, if you had a love in a relationship and y'all broke up, that don't mean y'all broke up. That relationship kept going in a part of your cell that was actively involved with that other person, and they lived happily ever after in the mineral world, which is called the elementaries. That these occur in all magnetic fields, so all your possibilities that occurred in life still is happening in real time. You have relationships, families all over in the spectrum that you started within your magnetic field or your cells, that your cells separate and go on and continue these lives, because I tell you, cells are living beings. So you will learn this. The easiest way to understand it is learn. I like Occult Chemistry by C.L. Ledbetter, but you could also learn just about a cell. I mean, an atom. An atom have four stages to it. There's E1, E2, E3, and E4. The four stages of an atom is equivalent from it being a solid, a liquid, a gas, and then an ethereal atom. When it becomes an ethereal atom, that's when it becomes what's called an Anu atom. When it becomes an Anu atom, it's an entity, a living being. Google an Anu atom and you see that's an entity. So you see your one atom continue on into life as an Anu atom. Even one of them become what's called the prokaryotic self. This is when you become an immortal. When you follow third way and you become a higher being, you become what's called a prokaryotic cell. This is what's called the logos. This is when you push your chakra into your circle. It look like a target. I would teach that later on, but you would want to be a prokaryotic cell to become immortal again. But with it, if you follow it consciously alive and do it alive, you retain your memory, so you will remember now all your life. It's kind of traumatic when you go back into those worlds and you remembering all these physical memories. I wonder how we'll do, but it's real. All right. Now, it's about honestly, genuine truthfulness. That's why everyone follow within the minimal range of choice based off status quo. Yes, Cam, perfectly said. That's why he says the truth and the light. But you got it. And when you honest, you see the world honest. And so a lot of us only see the world through our biased eyes. So we only see what they project to us. But when you can see everything, it's overlays here. You just got to find peace within yourself first. And that's the journey of the neophyte and the one who want to see the truth. We are being bombarded by television media to not let us see our true self because it's a subtle energy who you really are. And for you to tap in, you have to take off external forces from love to your own kids because it make you go from Cam Bar to daddy. And when you say daddy, you have a role to play, a hero position to play. You can't be your true self. So remember to take off that vestment of daddy or parent, school teacher, doctor, and be yourself half the time. Else you would lose yourself eventually down our line, like our parents did. You know, that's my message about that. Now, humiliation is a valuable thing because it makes you be truthful no matter what. That's it. And it also could cause your death because sometimes you standing up for truth hurt somebody and they say the truth hurt and it could cause you to either stand on your truth and fight for it or you might have to just null and void your truth. So the truth is dangerous because it brings about change. Nobody likes changes. It causes cognitive dissonance, and once cognitive dissonance come in, it's time for you to walk away because it's going to make them flare up and want to hurt you. But later on, if you did walk away, they're going to call you back and say, you know what, you was right. Remember, cause the cognitive dissonance got three stages to it: denial, pissed off, acceptance. Walk away from them. Once you give them the truth, don't go through the fight. You're gonna make it don't work. Plant the seed and walk away. That's their fight now with their self. You just taught them the truth. So that's my message to truthers out here who got a mouth like a sword and swing it like a snake or a dragon and it hurts people and they hate you. Don't worry about it. It's your God. Okay? Fight or flight, just offense and defense. All human mind tragedies. That's right, you got it. Peace and love, John Benjamin, Christar, Haggard and Magod. Break it down. Haggard and Magod. Alright, let me see. Hold on. I want to do a video on that. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to hold that one, Christoph, for you. I'm going to do a video on that. Thanks, Lord and Keith, for your explanation for the soul and the spirit. Will you be available for calls on Messenger? I started back doing calls on Messenger now. So go on and I don't got no phone. For those people hit me on WhatsApp. I'm waiting for new phones to come. My phone number don't work. My WhatsApp don't work. Hit me up now on Messenger, y'all. I've been on there teaching and I've been having a wonderful time learning and meeting new people. It's a lot of gods out here. That's what motivated me. So hit me up on there. I had a dream once that the world was going crazy. The sky was changing and the sun became all. I have so many deja vus kept leading up to that one vision. Cam, that's right. And that's what's going on. A lot of us is getting these downloads, but we're not able to interpret them. It's not just a change for you, but as you can see, the world is going through this change too. This change that nobody actually speak upon, and it's up to us now as the prophets and healers to start being these Ezekiel that tell these messages of what took place. A lot of us could have tapped in and tell what was going to happen before it happened, and we can. And it's up to us now to realize it's them It's us they're trying to stop. It's us that they're trying to prevent from the knowledge, and it's everybody that they're trying to prevent from tapping in. So get back to your isolation. Come out to learn, see how you could change, but participate 360. And I know a lot of us is at the stage now of the I. I'm in my I, meaning you're learning yourself. Know thyself. So it requires you to circumcise yourself from the material world and just go into a spiritual. And I advise you to do it and keep doing it. But come out and check. Make sure everything is everything, because everything is 360 and it's going to come back to the one experience. You're going to be the black patriot like I am too, and fight for humanity the right way as a God and see it the right way. So, enjoy your journey as you awaken and ascend. But remember, you're coming back out to do the works of the ancestors, your spirit guide. All right. Can you explain how when I'm dreaming, I'm able to remember other dreams and be aware of it? Well, Bab Young, that's called lucid dreaming. That's what how a God do it. That's God abilities, and it's kind of creepy because it's a simple thing like snapping your finger. You could be in your sleep and wake up in your sleep to a dream, and you involve in it. Like what the hell? So um, it's part of what they're giving you, a puzzle. It's a big puzzle that is in parts as lucid dreaming. But as you keep doing it, you're gonna remember it more, and then everything gonna come together like a collage to make up the God in you. So these parts that you're catching and you're remembering, it has more that you don't remember. If you even say you're remembering probably 30% of 100%, and you think your 30% is 100%. But it's gonna be other things when you remember. It was set like I call them what's the word I call them? They like they set to give you memories at certain clips. I think of the word that I call them, but they're triggers. I call them triggers. You're gonna be at a certain place at a certain time, and then that memory of your dream is gonna trigger the rest of the memory of something else, and trigger what respond to what's going on in your environment. And you're gonna say, "Oh shit, I got it." Plus, some of those triggers now, when you remember the dream, is gonna give you an instinct. Like I said, instinct only happens under conditions, action, under a noun. So you have to be involved in an action to learn your instincts. A lot of us have spiritual gifts and instincts, but we never was at the designated place we were supposed to be for the instinct to go off. You understand? So you get these dream instincts, they all in you. Now go out and have experiences, different places. That's where the pop is going to come in to make the instinct remind you, holy shit. All right, boom, boom. And that's how it works. All right? Reoccurring dreams is messages, something in your subconscious you haven't addressed or can't let go of. Usually, our early life and trauma create these. Sorry, I'm not entirely sure though. Yes, Cam, I don't even have nothing to say. You said it all. That's right. Crystal Chaos 100. I've seen Maya Gray Alien with VR headsets on. That's why I'm asking you questions about it. Black Mirror Reflections. So, is there any truth is this with LSD 25? So I watch illusions. Yes, definitely 1337. Everything you saying is real. All right, let me say it quickly. My battery's at 15%. 1337. All right, when you fuck with them gray mirrors and yeah, the alien. All right. Let me break it down seriously, real quick. The we when you study the craft, you learn this how to use the mirror, the dark mirror, the gray mirror, and you summon Astroth. A lot of them do it through Astroth meditation. Say Astroth made them the mirror. No, all our Egyptian ancestors, because my science is Egyptian science, we always had everything about the opacity level of that level dark. You don't see um lights in the pyramids, but there is mirrors in there, and these mirrors is dark. Look up the Egyptian mirrors, and you'll see them. They dark. All right. When we look in the mirror in these dark mirrors, and I hate being the one to tell you, I advise you to make one. But we're spiritual. You should be responsible enough to do it with enough responsible sense to be foolish and do stupid things. All right, but make yourself a dark mirror. Everybody need one. It's just a mirror, but it's put like dark reflective film over it. I forgot. Like you could use, as a matter of fact, tints. Just tint the mirror a little and have it in a dark place that you can't recognize your face. You see the reflection, but you only get a semi. You only can see your eyes, but you can see the whole outlook. This now, when you go into your meditations or you summon in a god or spirit, your eyes is gonna make your body now, the head, become that entity, that being. That's how people summon gods, aliens, beings. Yes, it's real, and it could have a psychological effect on you because the spirit come inside of you and you channel it and shows you things. But the mirror will give you that realness you was missing if you think this is a joke. So the mirror is actually, the black mirror reflection is 100% truth, 100% real, and you can learn a lot from it. And I mean, you could use the LSD if you want to, but I don't recommend it. It's gonna make the experience superficial. You don't want a superficial experience because if I tell you you could do it, go do it. You don't need to get the drugs for do something I'm telling you could do. Why would you use the drugs to do it if you could do it? You understand? It take away from the experience. You just want to go and say, yo, Enki said, if I get this man, I'll put this up. Let the room dim a little bit, very dim, and just stare at it. Stare at it. Shit gonna transform on your ass in a few. And you're gonna get sick coming in your head. I just told you that you don't need no drug to do that. So if you put drugs into it, I can't be responsible for what happened next. That's all I'm gonna tell you. But if it's done right, the room is kind of dark too, with just a candle reflecting into the mirror. Try not to have wind blowing on the candle, so the candle image will be fixed, or have a light source that just give you enough light, like candle light, so you could just see a reflection of it in the mirror. But you come up with some crazy stuff. So if you into that, go ahead, give it a try. 1337, like rendering images and seeing myself. Yes, you're gonna see yourself. Plus, you should see the dragon in you. You should start unfolding. You unlocking the seal of Solomon. That he said they sealed the 72 demons. Well, you got 72 demons in your subconscious. If you fucking look in your eyes and look in the mirror and stare into them dark mirrors, you're releasing them into your macabre. That's all you're doing. Yeah, it's real. Pan everybody is releasing it, and they are locked in your subconscious. So that's what you're doing. That's why people go into schizophrenia. Alex Crowley and all of them. That's what he was doing. But remember, you got 72 demons in your subconscious. 72 demons that come out to 120, almost million. Because remember, the ones they're calling the 72 is the 72 princes. Underneath them is dukes, and the dukes is elders. You got different leagues to it, so you got millions of them. Letting out one is like letting over 100,000 to almost a million out. So be careful. Please, please speak about the eye, Florida squigglies. The sun's being strong lately. My squigglies been doing some crazy things. It's turned into something. You're right. It's gonna be something being. Damn, why you putting me in this position, Cam? Alright, I'm gonna have to just do this last one. I'm not reading no more comments. I'm getting off of here because y'all trying to put me in positions, man. Alright, y'all know the squigglies I try not to speak on too much. Alright, but you know you sun stare. When you sun stare. Before we go into sun stare, you realize that you ever watch that, like when you relax, you lay down in your bed, you stare up at the ceiling. You get these little floaters, these little things floating in your eyes. Then when you try to look at them, they run to the back, they run away. And you chill again, and they come to the front. You try to look at them, they run away. Alright, cool, that's normal. That's the algorithm of them. When you looking and you observing life, they not there. This is how God made you. This is the default God thing. So if you don't believe in God, I'm teach you how God science works. Alright, so now you all day chilling, you going about your business. Well, having, but when you go chilling, go sit down. The gods come around. The gods come around. Gods come right around. When you stare into the sun, staring at the sun, the gods come down. They start coming down. You start seeing them flowing down. When you first come, it look like you got one squiggly. Keep doing it, you got a whole bunch of squigglies. My battery gonna die in a couple seconds. You see, I'm gonna stretch it out. So whichever one happened first, my battery die or you get this message. These squigglies is actually when you write the biochemistry formula with that look like a hexagon shape, like a cone, and they put N and something. That's those squigglies. So they come together. If you was to see one, it's a circle like a target, just one, and then it's got a square around it, the same like the square circle thing of like the Papples and all those places. That's in the squiggly. So now they start forming shapes. They come together and they can form dinosaurs, snakes. That's what you see the Egyptians have next to them. That's the squiggly that's next to the letters. When the symbols, that's the squigglies. We were supposed to only interpret those squigglies, all right? Those squigglies is infinite in dimensions. They come when you go to sleep. You ever watch somebody dreaming their eyes is flattering? The squiggly come right over it and do it. So what you want to do is go in the sun and stare and energize the squigglies. They light up when you go into meditation and they float, and that's what you travel to. That's all I'm going to tell you unless you're going to pay me for the rest of the information, Cam. So let me get out of here and stop because y'all asking too many questions. Cam about the orbs, Cam the visions. Cam, what about ayahuasca? These shamans still that drink it every day and live with the plant diets. I understand LSD is chemical, but what about plant in the individuals, natural organic ways into other realms? All right, that's the best way, Cam. Ayahuasca, no, this become mental. You don't want to do it mental because you're going into a mental place. Remember, demions, demons is psychic. You got a psychic body. You got a cannabinoid system that works with that. And if you drink ayahuasca, you can't control going in and out of that state. They control you. And if they control you, then your thoughts is not of your own. It's of them. So that's why it's a good experience for ayahuasca people. But all the people, you go on TEDx and type in like mental disorder using LSD and drugs. There's so many great professors and college professors that did it, but they all mentally fucked up because they themselves play with the drugs to try to learn the system, and it mentally messed them up. But they found their spirituality. Anybody using any type of drugs is a spiritual person seeking out their spirituality. This been research from the 70s, and they learned that now. So if you don't understand yourself, then you know now if you're losing drugs, you're just looking for your spirituality. Well, you can find it without using the drugs. Now, you say that there's shamans still that drink it every day and live with that plant diet. Those people is not the true shamans genetic wise. They're in fact they come from families that practice it like as a trade, a way to live. But the true shaman, DMT go off of me all day. I see the blue lights and I can't get rid of it. So it's not something we have to try to do. You could do it naturally if you're from that genetic line. But then if you take in the drugs, you're going to have the side effects. As you can see, I'm not kind of crazy schizophrenia. I'm pretty intelligent and smart, so my mind hasn't been compromised. I could talk to anybody from a Russian scientist to a NASA scientist and hold my own because there's nothing wrong with my mind. But when you take them type of things, as you get older in your 40s, 50s, it's going to compromise your thought process, slow it down, or anything. So you got to keep that into consideration when you're taking this. And you say, I understand LSD is chemical, but what about plant entheogen? All right, so that's my thing. I do it with plants now. Since COVID came down, let me see. I've been healing people making plant extracts. And let me see if any of my bottles is ready. We purged them for today, so I would let y'all see how I purged them. This one here is nice and thick. All right, let me see. I'll show y'all this one right here. Let's see. Turn this around. Could I turn my camera around before this turns off? All right, I'll turn it this way. As you can see, this one I'm making now. This right here is this plant called Biden pilosis, and I put vervine and another one in there called asthma plant. Now you hear it, listen. Oh, it's kind of low. It's supposed to make a fizz sound, a fizz. Well, I make it when I'm done. It forms these extracts. You see how it's gold like light? And you see at the bottom it builds up down there. I got many flavors of all type of different plants. Let me see if you was to see like here, you see this is the guinea hen. All around I just got plants all over. And I found out not only does this boost my immune system and keep me young and healthy, but it also helped me to astral project easier and help me to get into those other worlds and see clear. So I recommend plant extract. And if you want, I sell this plant extract. They taste like Moscato. It tastes like champagne. It tastes like Pijot. The way I make them, you won't even believe that it's a plant extract. It's bubbly. I got them all sealed right now. I ain't got none. Here go one. Look, this is what I call. This is my Spanish needle extract. This is one of my extract. I'm gonna show you what happened when I open it. Let me see. Watch. Let me see. Well, this is a basic one. This one ain't done up yet. Let me grab another one. 1 second. Here we go. This one here is kind of low. As you can see, it's down here. All right. Let me see. Once I pull it open, what happens? Okay, well, it looked like this ain't the right one either. This is just a regular medicine one. I got all of them sealed. What I do is I put seals on the lids so the ones that is actually like that, I don't like the thing to come out, so I can't show y'all. But it actually start overflowing like champagne or start just shooting up. So I wanted you to see how actually they work. As a matter of fact, here we go. I'll take it from the work area. All right, I'm at 5% on the battery. I just want y'all to see how the real one was. I don't cook these. Everything is in light. I'm going to use this one to show you. Here, let me catch it up because I make them super tight so it don't open. Hold on. All right, here you go. See? Look how it goes. You see how it gets when you open it? Hold on. And it tastes like champagne. Hold on 1 second. This thing here is going mad. Let me tighten it up. 1 minute. But I just wanted to show y'all what's going on with these things. Alright. But these is actually what y'all want to make the extracts, tinctures into wines, drinks, and drink these. This is how you heal naturally. It's better for you than actually taking ayahuasca. If you want to order them from me, I make them for any flavor. I use different plants. I also fight fibroids, cancer, diabetes. I'm gonna make a video of people with fibroids who don't have fibroids on. I'm gonna make a video of people with cancer telling you I don't have cancer no more. He healed me. I got so many case files that I'm doing right now. That's why I haven't been on here. But I'm healing people in the community, the whole community I'm healing. Once I do that, I'll show y'all, show and prove. I'm not gonna talk about it, but it's all through plant extract. And I'm gonna be honest, it's the ancestors that show me this. When I say the ancestors show me this, I close my eyes and a being come, take me out my body, and I feel like I'm being yanked out my body. Fly me over to the trees, show me the herb, and make sure I got it in my mind that I go when I wake up the next day or I get out my meditation and I go pick that plant, research it, and it's unbelievable. So I've been guided by just spirits taking me to the plant and showing it to me. I never read a book. I didn't do none of that stuff. Just them showing me everything how to do it. I don't cook my plants. I don't put no heat, no flame to it, and it just makes itself. I could teach you all how to do it, and I can have y'all in business. So just stick with me. I know how to what the future need. Put it like that. But I'm in market and research, so I don't want to give out too much info. Link me up. Y'all know how to link me up now. All right. Cam, I love you too, brother. Yes, definitely. Gotta call you. That's right. 1337. Some reason my hand are bleeding like sweat and blood when having hands in pray style. Yo, 1337. You got spirits. A lot of spirit fluid is pouring out your hand. You got them wet ass hands. You one of them moist hands having people, right? My homeboy like that. And yo, the lizards come over. He could sit like that. Lizards come over and lick his hands and the ants and all the animal. But I've read that's a spiritual fluid. That fluid is a healing fluid that's mad divine. But if you have that, you have to moon stare more. You have to do more moon staring, and that moisture will go away. Some people have it in their feet too, and it's not something that give off a bad odor or something. I'm talking they just sweat a lot from their palms and hands. It's something spiritual, you know. And I'll put up the research material on there, and then you'll be able to understand. First time happened on LSD when force is strong enough. Also, I can do it in regular life. They bleed without any substance. Oh, that's serious right there. Hey, you be writing down your experience when you're doing it on the LSD 25. You gotta jot down your experience so you know how to do it later on. Because I'm telling you now, from like I know mad people that after a while the LSD is not gonna work no more. Your body's gonna get immune to it, and you will have to induce it yourself, like how you felt when you was on LSD the first time. So you have to do like placebo LSD. You can do it, and somehow that's what you're gonna have to learn. That's you later on. You have to figure out another way. Chris Starr used to be a big knot. The mirror eye gaze. They are starting to unfold. All right, that's what it is, Chris Starr. The more you put time into the sun, the more time you put into yourself and just into the pondering stage, contemplation, the more your neurons will knit back to where it was originally, the original God self, so you can see into other dimensions. It'll be like a hologram. Once you can see like things into a reflective overview, try to hold that because people talk you out of it, keep your attention, and you'll lose it. The thing is to try to maintain it. That's why we practice a certain level of isolation. You know, I was shocked too, really 1337, because on LSD feels like I'm observing all light into myself. That's the truth. The same like I said, you ever watch you go like I go here is dark. I'm in the wilderness, the woods. So if I would have the lights or it's dark outside, let's say it's a dark night and I have my door open and the lights is on, all the moths outside will come and fly to my light. And so I'm observing and I'm seeing like, yo, these motherfuckers is flying to the light. They are in the darkness. They hate the darkness. They'll fight with me. I done broke broomsticks, everything in the house, phases trying to kill these or throwing them out. And I realized they do not want to go in the dark. They hate the dark. But then you have shit like a lizard who will not come to the light. That nigga will creep in the dark right there and stay there and wait for the moths. As soon as they get comfortable, then he comes and he'll eat them. So I'm like, yo, I see one group like the dark and one group is looking for the light. It's a fact of life. It's a fact of life. Yes, I want some of these extracts and still need those coral crystal too. Save some for me, brother. Definitely, Cam. I didn't even really get it going because there's so much red tape. But this new extract, let me tell you, I'm curing people of fibroids. I gave this lady. She came to me with fibroids. I gave her 3 capfuls she took. She said she took the 3 capfuls, and about 60 seconds after she took it, the pain that been bothering her for years, doctors couldn't cure, went away. She had profuse bleeding. The bleeding now just became clots. It slowed down. And this was about 2 months ago now. She coming by medicine all the time, but she says she's permanently healed. There's nothing wrong with her. So I just wanted you to know. 222, let's end it.